Saif al-Islam al-Gaddafi when he said that he was really interested in liberalising and that perhaps any time soon a constitution might be introduced into the Libyan system. I think that all sounded so good that the governments decided they weren't going to be sceptical. They weren't going to try and test this. And so bad things happened. There was a British businessman who was incarcerated for 6 months. Very recently, it was impossible for the British embassy to get any news about him. That ought to have been a really shocking episode. But I think because there was already so much on the table, right, so many business deals, a relationship which they didn't want to turn their back on, they decided that they wouldn't make such a big fuss about it, perhaps. Okay. And now we're seeing that that was a mistake, and starting with Tony Blair and going all the way through, we should have been tougher.
Yeah, Mahmoud al-Shamam, I mean, much of this was about oil, wasn't it? Now, looking at the situation currently, and as we discussed the inner circle and those close to him, for example, a country like Italy gets a quarter of its oil from Libya. If the Italians were pressured to, or of their own volition, wanted to renegotiate or reassess this business contract with Libya, who do they call? Who do they pick up the phone and talk to at this moment in time?
This is another expression that the international community had, which has no base. In matter of fact, just last night, a local body, temporary local body was created in Benghazi, containing 14 members, which now we have somebody who is taking care of the energy and oil, somebody is taking care of the health, education, transportation, communication, and they are well qualified, educated people. We can call it as an authority of technocrat who can take care of everything. They think that because of what the large, because of the size of Libya, because of what they are talking day and night about tribes, about divisions, about cities, they think they're going to go to the chaos. We are very organized. We have committees everywhere in Libya, and this is our oil, and we're going to protect it, not because we'd like to protect it for the West. We are protecting our wealth for the generation and future children. What I'd like to make sure about it, every city or area has been liberated, is controlled and organized by a committee of people who led the revolution in Libya, who liberated all the land in Libya, can manage, can lead, and can do a good job. There is no need that anybody interfere from outside. We can say to the Italians, you support Gaddafi, and I think that's not good news for them.
In Paris, Nouri al-Mismari, you mentioned that the international community has not done enough, or they've not responded quickly enough. The United States has confirmed sanctions against Libya. The UN Security Council has tabled it. They're deliberating. Might sanctions not serve to strengthen Gaddafi rather than weaken him?
Well, first of all, I would like to precise that, to be honest, thanks to the President of France, Mr. Nicolas Sarkozy, and President Obama, the United States of America, for what they have done and what they have said against Gaddafi. And I would like to appreciate also the speech of Mrs. Hillary Clinton. But I would like to be honest, the Security Council was a bit late. And if it was not thanks to the speech of His Excellency Mr. Abdurrahman Shagam, our former Minister of Foreign Affairs, and he is now the permanent representative of Libya in United Nations, that he explained to them what was happening in his country and what was going on. I don't think so they have done something strong. But what we need now, it's need the support of these countries more to help the people, to stop everything. First of all, they have to stop any flights coming from Africa to Libya. Because if you have heard, it was officially declared by Kenyan government that there are some mercenaries being flown to, Kenyan mercenaries flown to Libya and other parts of Africa. Meanwhile, I presume that the Libyan pilots will not bomb by all means the Libyan citizens. And I think, and I am quite sure of my sources, that there are some foreign pilots using our airplanes and fighting with the fighters over Libya. This is one thing. Now, it will, what happened at the end, it will weaken him up no more, but we know the stronger. We need the help to Tripoli. We need the help to Benghazi to survive and try to help them, because they need medicine, they need food, they need everything. And the only borders they can get through is now the Egyptian border, because all that area, the eastern area, is controlled by the People's Revolutionary People. And this is why I suggest that all helps and all aids, medicine and food, this has to, and especially milk for the children, this has to go through the Egyptian border, and I hope that the Egyptian government will understand that and let it go through.
Okay, passionate appeal there, gentlemen. We have, unfortunately, run out of time. Thank you very much to our guests, Nouri Al-Mismari, Mahmoud Al-Shamam and John Hamilton. And thank you so much for joining us here on this edition of Inside Story. As always, we welcome your comments, your suggestions or your questions. You can email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Oh no! It's an astonishing moment.
We are globally yours.
The times change. The instruments evolve. The battlegrounds shift.
This is America! Our country!
But the international struggle continues.
He was murdered!
Uncompromising, hard-hitting investigations.
I can't get no justice from no one in Jamaica.
People and power, at this time on Al Jazeera.
A popular uprising that shook the country to its core. A defiant president under siege from his people. As the protesters took charge of the streets, we look back at the events that are changing Egypt.
I will stay on the air if I can until the police come.
In a special program, Al Jazeera gives you a day-by-day account from those that witnessed them firsthand. Egypt burning, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Homes have crumbled and many buildings have been left just empty shells.
Tensions are high. Riot police trying to control thousands of Greek protesters on the streets of Athens.
A British court has approved the go-ahead for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to be extradited.
The Gaddafi is waging a war against the Libyan people. They are killing civilians mercilessly. They're using ammunition, live ammunition.
Personal blogs by professional journalists. blogs.aljazeera.net. This is Al Jazeera.
It is 1800 hours GMT. Welcome to the News Hour on Al Jazeera. I'm Kamal Santamaria. Live from our Doha, London and Washington news centres, continuing coverage of the uprising in Libya and the wider Middle East. Gaddafi's shrinking territory. Libya's former interior minister tells us most of the country is now in the hands of the protesters.
Now there is only Tripoli and a few other towns in Gaddafi's hands. That is why I urge the Libyan people that there is no going back.
And Tripoli remains tense, with reports of the regime arming pro-Gaddafi civilians to quell the dissent.
I'm Daljit Dali, while in Washington, where all eyes are on the United Nations as the Security Council prepares to vote on isolating Libya through sanctions.
I'm Lauren Taylor with the latest from Europe, including Ireland's election is predicted to overturn 80 years of domination by the governing party Fianna Fáil.
So most of Libya is out of his control. Muammar Gaddafi's grip on power may soon be confined only to the capital. Tripoli does remain divided. Residents there say the regime is arming civilians to battle the anti-government protesters. This as Gaddafi's own security forces give up the fight in some neighbourhoods in the capital. These pictures show the damage in the capital after the latest fighting between loyalists and protesters. Up to 7 people were killed on Friday when gunmen opened fire on people who rallied after Friday prayers. Hod Abdul Hamid is in eastern Libya. She wraps up the latest from across the country.
Praying to God for help in surviving an intense battle in Zawiya, 50 kilometers west of the capital Tripoli. Gaddafi is the enemy of God, this protester cries out. Seconds later, the gunfire gets much closer. This video was sent to AlJazeera after being filmed on Saturday morning. Zawiya is a strategic town with an oil terminal where opposition forces are gathering to drive Muammar Gaddafi from his last remaining strongholds.
Now there's only Tripoli and a few other towns left. That's why I urge the Libyan people that there's no going back. Going back's impossible. We have to move forward. All the patriotic, courageous and respected Libyan youth should help the people of Tripoli to carry out their duties.
Much of eastern Libya is already in opposition control, but these images, set to be filmed on Friday, show massive protests in Misurata, another western city 210 kilometers from the capital. AlJazeera cannot independently verify this video or another